Once you're doing anything that does not align with principle, my principle, structure of criminality should be destroyed. So if structure of criminality is existing in under your nose, like it was existing in Peter Obi's case, Peter Obi said, Nigeria, he wants to fight structure of criminality. But structure of criminality was existing right under his nose, and he was cavorting with them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a few days ago, PDP's Segun Showunmi said this about Peter Obi. Watch.
So my greatest disappointment as we're getting ready for 2027 is actually Peter. And he is my disappointment.
You mean Peter Obi?
Yes, of course.
The Labour Party candidate.
Peter Obi, that's his name.
Right.
The reason is that I had hoped in all of his seriousness, I know how we started that thing, that Peter will understand that we can move and challenge the status quo, not the way he's been doing it all by himself, just right now, but we could do that just to be able to take the outcome, even if it is defeat. We'll say we gave you the best push and we shattered the glass ceilings and united the country because there's no glass ceiling on top of the Southeast. But I can't.
Well, he did. He made an effort in 2023.
That was 2023. You don't know how we got there. I'm talking about the future. You make one effort, and then the next thing you're doing is you're running up and down the street telling people you want to. What kind of talk is this? Are we going to go into? Well, it's his business, though. And I told him many months before. Now look, if your mind is not made up by May 29th this year, what you want to do,
right?
I'm going to be more inclined to support Ashaju. And the simple reason is this: I told him, Peter, the benefits that we have done now by integrating you as someone that can be leader of the Indigo political force and in a pan-Nigerian environment, I do not think you should throw it away, but it's your call. If you want to do that, all this coalition, that, sitting down with same of same and thinking that you're bringing a new order, I'll be...
Well, he hasn't made any definitive...
But a lot of Peter Obi supporters disagreed with their assessment, describing Mr. Showunmi as a desperate politician who would do anything for his own personal interests. Now, a day before Mr. Showunmi gave that damning verdict, Peter Obi had been asked by Rufai Hussaini of Arise TV to respond to similar allegations raised against him by Kenneth Okonkwo. And here is how he responded.
Kenneth Okonkwo, yes. These are the things they said against you.
It's just Kenneth Okonkwo. Who again?
But it's a valid point of view. And it's an echo chamber.
If 12 persons that followed Jesus, one went against him, how about me, who have millions followed, and you're counting those who went against me? Listen, people must go against you, people must speak against you. And their own listen, I still remain consistent. I'm not changed. Like I said, Kenneth is my younger brother. He has his reasons for his actions or what he wants to do. Rufai, humility, patience, tolerance is not weakness, it's a virtue. It is not easy for people to remain where I am. And when I was campaigning election, Rufai went to places people dare not go to. I was in Southern Gombe, was everywhere. People fear to go. If I drive around this country today, this year alone, I've driven from Abuja to Kafancha, to Kaduna, to Kano, to Katsina, to Jigawa, to Jos, to Benue, to Kogi. Who's doing that? So people just stay in their house and talk about this macho they are. Just like they stay, they don't go to anywhere. It's easy to be an armchair critic. For God's sake, I'm on the road.
You know why they keep talking about this weakness? Because as it stands today, you don't even have a platform at which we're going to run elections.
Don't worry.
If Julius Abure says, I will continue with the Wahala,
don't join them.
He will continue with Wahala, and coalition talks are still going on. That might swing in your favor, that might not swing in your favor. So that's why a lot of people keep saying, they said, you want to be presidents. but you can't sort out problems in your party. People say they don't trust you. They see you as weak. Because how can you say you want to be president? You can't sort out things. They also say that for you, it's a one-man show. It's all about you. It's not all about the generality of people. It's a tunnel vision, ideology, and all of that. One man will
this is what you get always, right? This is what you get always in Nigeria. Because we now live in a country of propaganda and lies, and they manufacture it. The problem we have in the Labour Party is problem instigated and sustained by the government of today.
Where's the proof?
I don't need to tell you. When you have a party chairman who calls a state governor a dwarf and dwarf thinking, forget about me. So it's not weak. Okay, I'm weak, but it's not weak. Is every other person there weak? So let's all be sincere with ourselves. Before they call you names here, you know it. You speak the truth and you call you names. We now live in a country of propaganda and lies and trying to put problems everywhere. They won't even put problems in families. Rufai have built a business locally and internationally, and they're thriving. By the time I left them, I've been chairman of corporations, quoted companies, director, and I've earned my respects. And I've been a governor. There's no place that have shown weakness. Rufai, I returned school that was taken from churches 40 years that nobody could even dare.
I don't think he answered the question, but the truth is humility, patience, and tolerance, all good virtues, no doubt. But if firmness is not included in that mix, then there is no leader. And that's what many people who have worked with him seem to be saying. And please don't take my words for it.
So the issue here is that Obi, when he said that somebody betrayed him, it is not true. Obi is the one betraying himself. And let me tell you the gospel truth. Nobody is murdering Obi's political career. Obi is committing political suicide. And I mean it. Because I recall when we were campaigning, I went to the national office when I saw their mindset and pleaded with every member of the Labour Party that nobody should campaign or endorse any candidate who is not a member of the Labour Party. Till today, when I was Labour Party, I did not endorse any candidate from councillorship to the presidency. The same will be endorsed candidates of other political parties publicly. The gubernatorial candidate of another party was who Obi endorsed in Cross River State, rather than the Labour Party gubernatorial candidate publicly. When I'm saying anything I did with Obi, it is only the ones that had been public. Anything we discussed confidentially, I would never say unless he brings it up. So everything I'm telling you is something that's already in the public. So at the end of the day, it was still Obi that endorsed the candidates of other political parties, apart from Labour Party. I recall when I took some Labour Party candidates to the national headquarters, begging that they should be endorsed. I knew the obstacles that I had to pass. So the issue here is when he's trying to make that insinuation. When I was telling him that these people, they were going to sell him out, that if he follows them, I will not follow him. He said I was behaving rascally. I was trying to make him I'm in a haste, that I'm suggesting, trying to make insinuations, because he likes to make insinuations. What is he saying today? The same Obi is saying the government is using these people against him. The same thing Kenneth Okonkwo told him how many months ago? For crying out loud, if you're a leader, you are in such a party, you have 2-3 options. The first one is, if you see that these people are criminals the way you want to paint them now, you leave the party if you can't solve the problem as a leader, so that your followers will not be confused, and so that you don't get so close to the time of the next election that you would have nothing to do about it. Now, you did not leave. You remained with them. Why? Because you're in cahoot with them in everything they're doing. In all the primaries that the Aburedem organized, none was organized without Obi's approval, whether in Imo, whether in Edo, whether in Ondo, and now in Anambra. And that was why Obi campaigned for all the candidates that came out of it. So you're in cahoot with these people in private. In public, you want to paint another image. No, you're just being a politician of convenience, not a politician of conviction. So where does Kenneth Okonkwo come into this? When I couldn't take it anymore, I left. And before leaving, I had nothing to do with any politician. Nothing. So the issue here is that a Peter Obi, you're not a team player. You're not a great manager of political issues. And you're looking for your problem outside you. I told him that whatever happens to Labour Party has happened to his political career. Because anytime you're stepping out into a coalition, the destiny of your political future is no longer in your hands. Because you have to subordinate your own interest to the interest of the coalition. Labour Party is not viable now as a party to prosecute presidential campaign. So his political destiny lies now in the coalition, or he is not going to make any impact whatsoever in 2027. So when he insinuated that Kenneth Okonkwo betrayed him, sorry, Obi betrayed himself.
Quite a lot is said there, but there are a couple of them that stands out. But perhaps the one that is likely to do the most damage to Peter Obi is this one.
What is he saying today? The same Obi is saying the government is using these people against him. The same thing Kenneth Okonkwo told him how many months ago? For crying out loud, if you're a leader, you are in such a party, you have 2-3 options. The first one is, if you see that these people are criminals the way you want to paint them now, you leave the party if you can't solve the problem as a leader, so that your followers will not be confused, and so that you don't get so close to the time of the next election that you would have nothing to do about it. Now, you did not leave. You remained with them. Why? Because you're in cahoot with them in everything they're doing. In all the primaries that the Aburedem organized, none was organized without Obi's approval, whether in Imo, whether in Edo, whether in Ondo, and now in Anambra. And that was why Obi campaigned for all the candidates that came out of it. So you're in cahoot with these people in private. In public, you want to paint another image. No, you're just being a politician of convenience.
And this is important because that is what Peter Obi and his supporters have been saying for quite some time now. So for a Kenneth Okonkwo, who was a prominent member of the movement, to essentially suggest that Peter Obi needs to look in the mirror is something that cannot just be ignored and appears like a major win for the APC. In other words, I think it just helped the APC make their case. And no matter how Peter Obi and his supporters try to dice this one, it just doesn't look good. And it sure does have the potential to affect the credibility of Peter Obi, saying the APC and President Tinubu are responsible for the crisis in the Labour Party. And while it might be true that there are agents of APC within the party, the fact that people like Peter Obi knows about the existence of such people should ordinarily be an advantage for him, because you cannot know about the existence of such persons for this long and still don't know what to do with them. And if a decision has been made to sanitize the party of these elements by Obi, The question is, has he got the grit and time to get it done? I guess only time will tell. And to this one.
So the issue here is that a Peter Obi, you're not a team player. You're not a great manager.
Peter will understand that we can move and challenge the status quo, not the way he's been doing it all by himself.
First, it was Segun Showunmi, and now Kenneth Okonkwo. Two men who had worked with him, essentially saying the same thing. Now, I don't know for sure if what they are saying about Peter Obi is true, but there are certainly issues that are capable of swaying some undecided voters. And why is it that it is members of the opposition party that seem to be making a re-election case for the ruling APC? When they are not defecting in droves, they are saying things like what you have just heard from Mr. Segun Showunmi and Kenneth Okonkwo. Which brings me to this inescapable question. Is the 2027 election already won and lost?